Welcome back to HBO. We saw Green Sheep go out to a 1-0 lead here over Jab in a mirror match of Grim Patron Warrior decks.
Yeah, had one of the best turn 5s that you could possibly have. Had not only a Deathbite ready, but also a Grim Patron with 2 Inner Rages for a massive amount of pressure on the board. What are they going to do in game 2, though? You know, Green Sheep going against the grain and Jab kind of, trying to target that strategy out a little bit, playing a deck with a couple of Armor Smiths in it. Love the queue up from both of these players, but it went in Green Sheep's favor. Yeah,
Green Sheep threw a little bit of a curveball. Jab queued up, depending on what he thought Green Sheep was going to play, so something super aggro and aggressive, and we're going to have to see what they do here because we have game 2 ready. Green Sheep versus Jab. It's going to be interesting to see if Jab stays the course, keeps doing what he thinks Green Sheep's going to do, or if Green Sheep's actually going to change and go super aggressive, or just keep doing the same kind of thing. And it looks like Green Sheep's queuing up Grim Patron Warrior again, and Jab is mixing it up.
Yeah, Jab going to one of his strategies that has performed absolutely wonderfully so far in Druid. And Druid, I have to say, I think it's a great queue up versus Grim Patron Warrior. If they don't really get the ball rolling and have something like Execute in the early game, they could very easily fall behind. And look at Jab's hand, no shortage of action in this one. Potential for turn 1 Wild Growth and turn 2 Druid of the Claw. Green Sheep's, we had a little bit of a spectator client, but we'll get his perspective up as soon as we can. There's a copy of Unstable Ghoul in his deck.
Interesting. We don't always see that in the Grim Patron Warrior decks.
Not only that, but it's something we don't necessarily always see from Green Sheep. He's just continuing to play this powerful strategy over and over again, really looking to get things on his side and keep him there. Oh, wow. Dr. Boom gets picked up for Jab.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if he does slow down here trying to play the Dr. Boom sooner, but you got to believe that he's just going to go for an early Druid of the Claw. It's hard to pass this up.
Yeah, now the question here is, do you go into Taunt or do you go into Charge? I mean, Taunt, it will certainly force your opponent to have an Execute in this regard, but at the same time, Charge can get in a lot of extra damage.
Yeah, Charge get in a lot of extra damage, but if your opponent were to have something like Whirlwind or Inner Rage, you're trading it for those cards as well, which you're not super unexcited about, because then it's parts of the combo taken away from the Grim Patron Warrior deck.
Wow, second Druid of the Claw picked up for Jab, and Green Sheep going to continue to try to aggressively leverage his life total to take care of this Druid of the Claw. I mean, that's 12 points of damage that this thing is going to have gotten in since its entry to the board here. This is a very, very scary proposition for Green Sheep.
Yeah, if he wants to, Jab can actually charge the second Druid of the Claw, start getting in a ton of damage here and be super aggressive against Green Sheep. If he doesn't have something like Deathbite to answer it super cleanly, then you get multiple cards out of Green Sheep to deal with your next one.
Yeah, I have to believe with the way that Jab played the first one, he's going to continue to play the second one in the same vein. And also something else that'll happen is that this Gnomish Inventor, it can be Cruel Taskmaster or Inner Rage to pick off a 4/4 charge. So something I think that he's trying to avoid is having his threats be effectively dealt with. And given the way that Green Sheep dealt with the first one, I would expect this one to do some work as well.
Yeah, this one's going to do a lot of work. It's going to get a ton of damage. Green Sheep possibly use Whirlwind with a Fiery War Axe to take care of this
yeah,
Druid of the Claw.
I mean, it looks to me like this is going to end up being an Execute turn when everything is said and done. Cruel Taskmaster may change that a little bit. Nope, just going to go with Execute here. Does float a point of mana, but I don't think you can afford to really leverage his life total anymore. I mean, against Druid, when you hit that 14-ish point, that's when it starts to become very dangerous when they're rolling into those 9-mana turns and potential for Force Nature and Savage Roar.
Yeah, and Jab picks up an Ancient of Lore here, but turn 6, not the greatest spot for him. He's got a Force Nature that he can play, but that's not super exciting. He's got a Wrath and a Swipe if he wants to use it. Again, these aren't super exciting, but Swipe isn't always the best card in this matchup. It does kill some minions, but there are some diminishing returns when they have stuff like Grim Patron and Frothing Berserker in their deck.
Yeah, a lot of crazy things can happen in that regard. Just going to choose to Wrath and take it out. Doesn't need an extra card. Again, he's got Dr. Boom and Ancient Allure, so he's looking pretty fantastic for this. However, his turn 6, completely blank. I mean, no minion on board. This is the window for Green Sheep to try to start taking control in this matchup. Yeah,
and he picks up a Deathbite, a good pickup here. Just a great card against Druid and anything else, any other decks that you might be playing against Grim Patron Warrior, and it's just a great opportunity for you to set up later turns, but Unstable Ghoul does the same thing as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with that. Extra Whirlwind effects of this deck, something that can be very dangerous. Jab. This Dr. Boom could potentially do a lot of work because Green Sheep has expended his Execute.
Yeah, Green Sheep doesn't have a clean answer to this Dr. Boom right now, but let's see how far he can advance this turn. He's going to dig into his deck a little bit with Slam here.
Yeah, second Whirlwind. I'm sorry, first Whirlwind picked up. He does second Whirlwind is because he's got the Unstable Ghoul on board, but no way to really check this Dr. Boom other than using his own life total. And again, it's going to be very dangerous to do so because both of these Boom bots, if he chooses to trade in this, if he chooses to trade in this Unstable Ghoul, are going to be headed for the Dome. And Green Sheep, once again, does not have a really an effective way to check this. I mean, he could use Inner Rage and Cruel Taskmaster. So which one's more important right now? Is it your health or is it your options?
Yeah, I think he's going to value his options a little bit more and just hope that Jab can't kill him over the next 2 turns.
Wow. 5 damage dealt from Boombots. That is the average amount of damage.
Jab almost has lethal here.
Yeah, very close to lethal in these coming turns here, and I have to believe that something like Sludge Belcher is going to be what he's looking for, but it also could just be hunting for lethal at this point. I mean, if he plays Force of Nature and Hero Power, Green Sheep's going down to 1 point of health, and the Hero Power can bring it back up to 3, but at that point, he puts pressure on Green Sheep to actually have a way to extend his life total.
Yeah, you actually make Green Sheep use mana on extending his life total and not his board. And that's actually what Jab's going to do here. I like this play from Jab because you're going to tax Green Sheep's mana over the next turn. Green Sheep needs to develop his board and get life back since you have this swipe that's going to be lethal next turn.
Yeah, Green Sheep does have the tools to do that, though. He has Armor Smith along with a couple minions and some, he's got Whirlwind, he's got Inner Rage, he's got Death Spite. He can really start to pad his life total here, but can he extend that into a game-winning position? That's really the big key for him. Because not only that, he has to be thinking about what are the odds that Jab's got another Force of Nature next turn? What if he has Savage Roar to go along with it? I mean, on turn 6 when on turn 8 when Druids play Force of Nature and ram the tokens into your face, it's a pretty big indicator that they have more damage to back that up.
Yeah, it's a very scary proposition out of the Druid deck, and you're going to see Green Sheep just develop a board full of minions here, Whirlwind, and gain a ton of armor. He probably even used the Death Spice activation here. I have to believe he's going to do that as well. And just gain as much life as he possibly can.
Yeah, unless he chooses to Inner Rage or Whirlwind with this, though, I mean, it's not going to give him enough life so far. This will bring him up to 4, but he needs an extra armor afterwards, so going to be forced to expend another one of these effects to get that done. And then at that point, he's just running himself out of cards.
Yeah, he's running himself out of cards and resources with which to combo off. Great play from Jab to put him in this position here. He's putting him in a position where he's taxing his mana in multiple ways instead of letting Green Sheep just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and now at this point, Jab is free to use this swipe how he sees fit. If he just wants to kill minions, that's totally fine. It's something he can do. I mean, Green Sheep, he has to play around something else here. He's forced to use Inner Rage just to try to stay alive.
He goes up to 5. Jab. Oh, that's actually lethal.
Yep, that's lethal indeed. I mean, you can just keep her the Grove and then swipe the face. If your opponent has 0 health, it doesn't matter how much armor they have afterwards.
It looks like Jab has top-decked his way into evening up this match here at 1-1.
I think Jab's trying to remember exactly whether or not someone stays alive if they have armor and 0 health total here. I can tell you that I figured that out the difficult way. I relied on armor to protect me in a situation. It does not.
Yeah, but it looks like Jab sees it. He's going to go for it. He's going to deal 2 to Green Sheep's face here and then finish him off with a swipe. So his aggressive plays here early and often are going to be rewarded with a win here against Green Sheep in Game 2. And he's going to even up this match at 1-1.
Yeah, really dictating the pace with that early aggression made so much difference. And in this matchup, man, I have to believe Green Sheep was maybe too liberal with his life total. He didn't have a lot of tools to deal with these 2 Druid of the Claws that came out very fast. But at the same time, how much damage can you afford to take against someone who's going to try to push the action in a spot like that?
Yeah, sometimes you can't afford to take that much damage, especially against a player like Jab, who is aggressive and generally is playing aggressive decks. Now, he had a Druid deck, and he got to a very quick start, but didn't do much in the middle turns of the game, but then you saw him really turn it on there on turn 7 with Dr. Boom and then Savage Roar just attack your face the next turn.
Green Sheep really swapping it up. We talked about how aggressive he's been in his past, but now in this match, he's aggressively using his life total to try to gain an edge, trying to, he's taking that blowback and really get him to himself to a position where how on earth does he handle that much aggression? Well, I can tell you that the way to do it is not continue to take more damage. He's got to find a way to stop Jab when he's getting to those positions.
Yeah, and Jab's been getting those positions very, very well here in the last week. As we said, 3-0 last week. He was down 1-0, but he's up. He's back up to an even match score here, 1-1 in this match.
Yeah, if you want to take a look exactly how he bounced back from that, again, he started 0-2, and then he won 3 straight matches. You can head over to pvplive.net and see for yourself exactly how Jab was able to turn around those matches and stop being targeted, as he said he was in his interviews after he started winning some matches and really turning things around here. So great adjustment from him, and I like the adjustments from Green Sheep, but so far here, we're tied. No one's gotten the better of the other one yet, and we're going to find out who's going to get the better of him in Game 3. When we come back, one of them's moving on to 2-1. The other one is going to be down a game and need 2 straight. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.